Hey guys, it's good to see you again. Thank you for tuning in for another wonderful episode with plenty of value and a deep discussion about a topic of fundamental importance that would incrementally increase the quality of your life if you are to take and implement into your life the wisdom, tools, and strategies I'm going to offer you throughout this conversation. So please be focused, present, absorb all I'm going to share with you because there's a lot of golden nuggets hidden here, and I really want to, as usual, empower you, inspire you, and educate you on a topic with fundamental importance. So what is the topic of the discussion today? The topic of discussion is how do we create deep connections with anyone in any situation for a very short amount of time. Now, as before, if you've watched any of my other videos and lessons on other important and amazing topics, and I do recommend highly that you do if you've stumbled upon this one as your first lesson, is to always ask your question or ask yourself this question: why do you want to learn this? Or how is it this new knowledge going to benefit you? Why is it important to you to learn how to create deep connections with others? What if you do, and what if you don't? I really urge you to give this a considerable thought here for a moment or two and really come to a point or a reason that is so emotionally charged for you that will make sure, or this reason will give you the rocket fuel you need to stick with it and make and do whatever is necessary in order for you to develop these new skills and ultimately make this part of your being rather than something that you do from time to time. Now, I'll give you mine. And it's a very powerful quote I heard somewhere. I'm not sure from who is it from, but if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Meaning that, yeah, sometimes it might seem very convincing that doing it alone, right, and not having anyone involved in your business, in your pursuit, in your purpose in life, and whatever it is the easiest thing to do. But when it comes down to it, no one succeeds on their own truly. Because success, no matter in what aspect of life you want to be talking about success, doesn't matter if it's financially, socially, family life-wise, and whatever that might be, even in athletics, which is, you could be an athlete, which is most of the cases a very singular or not a team effort, you still gonna need the help of your coach and all the other people that come in place. So success is always a product of collaboration and cooperation between many people. And this is, to me, why it's fundamentally important to be extremely good at creating deep connections with others. And not just the connections, but creating authentic connections with others, right? Because we can create deep connections from a very, let's say, egocentric and sociopathic place where we just want to extract something from someone when there is no value exchange. And we're going to go into this much deeper as we go into the conversation, but the point being is that we want to create a two-way stream, right? A relationship that benefits all parties involved, that we are, as the saying goes, another popular saying, another one of my favorites, is that the rising tide rises all boats. So this is the ideology we want to follow. By raising the people in our life, we raise ourselves as well. And when they raise too, we rise as well. So it's a mutually beneficial type of relationship that we want to be creating and not really keeping count. What do I mean by this? Well, sometimes in order to establish a relationship with someone, you would come up from the place of generosity, where you offer them something, and just to start a relationship and to show the goodwill and desire for you that you're there for them, right? So you do something for them, maybe you do something more for them and so on, but you don't keep a little record on a notepad like, I did this favor for this person, I did this favor for this person, and so on and so on. So one day you can just pull it out and say, oh, I did all these things for me. For you. What are you going to do for me? And this is not how we're going to be playing this. This is not some, again, sociopathic or covert way to get people to do what we want them to do, or make them feel uncomfortable, or feel obligated in some way, in some form to us. It's coming from our authentic place. So let's start and dive deep. Why would you want to create and develop the skills of being able to quickly create deep connections with others, authentic connections with other people in your life? Think about it, find your why, and use it to propel you forward to actually develop these skills and make them part of your being. Now, another one that is extremely important to me, a reason why this has always been a fundamental part of who I am, is that I rather have one truly good friend who I can trust and rely upon than have 10,000 acquaintances, none of which I could trust, rely, or count on to show up for me when I truly need them. So to me, it's always about the quality of relationships, not the quantity, right? I'm not Walmart. This is not, 99-cent store. If you want to have an amazing life, one of the requirements is to have a solid social circle. And it's not about how big it is, but definitely how strong the quality of the relationships are between, and how much you can trust and count these people. Not because you're needy, but because you know you have them there for you when you need someone to come and give you a hand with something. Even if it's just something simple, your car broke down on the street and you need somebody to pick you up and help you out with something real quick, right? It could be small things, or it could be somebody who has to pick up your mail, or it doesn't matter what it is. It could be the smallest thing, and it could be the biggest thing. I've been blessed in my life to have amazing friends, even years after, where we haven't seen each other because I've been moving around, especially since I've been here in the US. Over the last 16 years, I've lived in 4 big cities, moving across east, west, across the states, from California to Florida to Nevada and so on. And I've lived in many places, created a lot of deep relationships and amazing friendships with people all over the US. And even when you haven't seen them year, 2, 3, and maybe rarely have time to catch up on the phone, I know if I showed up, I give them a call, they'll always be there for me. And that's why this is so important. And again, it's coming from the place of value exchange, or being there for each other, because it's the same. If they were to, let's say, all of a sudden show up in LA, give me a call and be like, hey, I'm in town, let's, whatever, I need a place to stay, or whatever it is, I'll be like, hell yeah, come in, come over. It just recently happened like this. My friends from Vegas, which I haven't seen in a while, all of a sudden called me and were like, hey, we're coming down to LA to see you. Okay, cool. Like, you're welcome to stay, that's it. As simple as that. I didn't know that they were coming over. I found out kind of like at noon on the same day they were supposed to come. So, okay, good, wonderful. Very, very wonderful. So we had a great time together. I let him stay in my place. It was an impromptu kind of situation. Still, you know, there's always space for good friends in my home. So that's how it worked out. So how do we begin to create a deep connection with anyone quickly? Where this has to do first with our relationship with ourselves. Are we comfortable with ourselves? Because what is required really is intimacy, or our ability to create intimacy with others. And I will break down intimacy into really what it is, if you have not very clear comprehension of what I mean by this. Intimacy could be viewed and understood as into me see. Intimacy, into me see. And you can only allow people to see into you, or who you truly are, your authentic you, if you are okay and comfortable with yourself. If you're not, you're gonna struggle with allowing people to see who you truly are. And here is the thing, intimacy, authenticity are fundamental. Being vulnerable and showing who you truly are, what your true colors are to others. Because what happens is, if you haven't done this before, if you're one of these people, and there's nothing wrong with this, it's just how you've been trained. Because we're all being conditioned to be a certain way based on how we were brought up and what school did we went, if we were to church or whatever, like those social groups we are part of that condition our being, way of behavior, and so on, relating to others. You could be someone, there's nothing wrong with this, but you can be, this is very typical of people that are not authentic or uncomfortable with themselves, that are very nice to everyone, always try to accommodate everyone, never willing to really say what's going on within, even though you can see it in their body language, in the energy they have, that it's not necessarily okay, but they'll smile and put the fake smile and so on, because once you learn and you're able to really be present with someone and read body language never lies. People can say a lot of things because what comes out of your mouth is something that you can filter. By your body, you cannot filter, because most, I would say 99.9% of the people out there are fully unconscious of their own body language. And body language tells you more about the state that someone's in at any moment than anything would ever come out of their mouth. You just need to know what you're looking for, and you need to be present enough to notice it, right? Because if you're locked up in your head, imagine for a moment this scenario. You're in a conversation, some event, networking event, and you're in a conversation with few new acquaintances, right? And instead of being present, reading the body language and just listening and absorbing what they're saying, you're waiting for your time to start talking, because you already know what you want to say. And what all that's going on in your head, you're rewinding what you're gonna say. You're already like practicing in your mind what's the next word that's gonna come out of your mouth, and you cannot wait to start for them to stop talking and you to take the initiative and continue the conversation or lead the conversation, right? Instead of being present, reading their body language and understanding where they're coming from, what's going on for them. Again, body language is gonna tell you all you need to know. And vulnerability, by being vulnerable and allowing people to see into you who you truly are, is going to give you a very, very powerful ability, which is called polarization. What's going to happen is, if you are authentic, if you're being truly you in every circumstance, conversation, social interaction, and so on, what you're going to be creating is polarization with others. And what does this mean? Is that people either gonna love you or they're gonna hate you. Because here's the thing. A lot of people, again, have been conditioned through early childhood to be agreeable with everyone and not rock the boat. Meaning that they will deprive themselves from telling the truth just to please others so they can be liked and they can be accepted into some certain social circle. However, this is not what we're talking about, because if you're coming from this place, all of your life you're going to suffer because nobody's going to know you for who you are. You'll be a people's pleaser. You'll be living just to please others, and you'll be living in people's goop. What do I mean? The good opinion of other people, because your only reason to be in their circle or their friendship or relationship with you would be because you are pleasing them, not because they like you. Because they would never know who you truly are. If you're only trying to please these people, they're never gonna have any clear idea of who you truly are, what you stand for, and so on. Because as a friend to someone, really, you have to be able to tell them the truth, regardless of how painful or unpleasant this truth might be to them. Because friends are not there to give you just compliments. Friends are there to give you constructive criticism, to give you feedback, to give you advice that's gonna maybe even save your life or whatever, help you not getting yourself into a relationship that's gonna be, quite devastating for your well-being and so on and so on. Because we have a saying where I come from that things are a lot more apparent and clear from the side. Right? If you have a different perspective, what I mean by this, the way you view things, when it's your life, it's first person shooter kind of thing. If you guys play video games, you see things very close on, like as you see through your eyes. So your perception, the way you see things, lacks the depth. And you cannot see all the nuances and all the different details that come in play. So you cannot make full sense of what's going on. But somebody outside, somebody else, not you, with a different perspective, can see things as they truly are. It can see the truth from the side and give you the insight you need. However, if you're not open to it, you're going to be missing on a lot. And that's what friends are there for a lot of the times, right? To tell us, or we as friends to someone, if we truly want to serve them and come from this place of caring about them, we have to be able to tell them the truth, not just words that make them feel good. Because we're not there to be their little cheerleader, even though that's great in moments. But it's more valuable for us to tell them the truth and be in this way polarizing than to be people pleasers and for always literally have white lies to say to people, right? Because that's what it is. It's a white lie. No, it's a fucking lie. Doesn't matter if it's white, if it's black, or whatever it is. A lie is a lie, and that's a simple fact. Doesn't matter what kind of a lie it is, right? It's still a lie. So polarization, being authentic, being you, becoming comfortable with who you are so people can see you, or intimacy, right? So you can create this intimacy. And by doing so, you also allow people to be the same. Because the people, again, once you have polarization, you're going to have these two extremes. You're going to have people that hate you. And I don't mean hate you like haters, but you might have haters depending on where you're at in life, right? Because people will hate on you only if you have something that they wish they had. They won't bother. If you had nothing that they care about or they admire within you, they would never hate upon you. Trust me on this one. You'll be a nonsense in their life, so they'll never even acknowledge you. But if they actually putting the energy to go out of their way to hate on you, then obviously you have something more, or at least they see a lot more in you than they see in themselves. So don't be concerned with these people or the hatred. It's not that type of hatred. What I mean is like people either gonna love you or they're not gonna like you and they're just gonna fuck off, which is wonderful. That way you don't have to figure out who's your friend, who isn't, who likes you, who isn't. and so on and so on. You'll quickly be able to filter out, just by your behavior, the way you are, the people out of your life who don't belong there, and you're gonna keep and attract even more into your sphere of influence, into your energy field or magnetism, the people that like you, which is wonderful to have this level of polarization. And by having this, again, you allow others to be the same way, to be transparent, to be honest, to be vulnerable, to tell you truth, because this is how you start to create this, right? If we meet someone new and we expect to be or desire to build a deep connection, we have to be able to be upfront, honest, authentic, and vulnerable right away and go deep. If you stay on the surface and you make small talk, right, and all this nonsense, you'll be wasting your time. Forget about small talk. Nobody gives a fuck about small talk. It's something people do because they're uncomfortable to talk real talk. I had this happen to me sometimes. People will tell me, right, because that's what I do. It's just like with my videos. I don't go on the surface and do small talk. There is no need to talk small talk. It's not going to add any value to me, nor to you or anyone else. So sometimes when I encounter, again, being authentic and polarizing people from the get-go, people that are very superficial and unable to be authentic and go deep and really create deep connections with others, will tell me like, wow, you're so deep, man. And I'll be like, well, are you shallow? And they either fuck off or they no, they drop the little thing they were trying to hide behind it. They're like, okay, I like that. If we're gonna be like this, we can have it like this. Or again, they're gonna fuck off, which is fine. I don't want to be liked by everyone, because I understand that you cannot be liked by everyone. If that's what you're striving to do, you're not gonna be liked by anyone, because the truth is, the face you'll be putting out is not gonna be the real you. You gotta be putting all these different faces for everyone to like you, right? So you'll be adjusting who you are according to how the other people's are to fit in their picture, rather than being you, the main actor in your own movie, and again, attracting to you the people that actually like you for who you are, and detracting the people that don't like you, which don't need to be in your life, because you have nothing to benefit from them. Or you cannot benefit them either, or your cooperation is not necessarily something to be concerned with, because it's not gonna bring any benefits to anyone. It will be just frustration, right? Just like oil and water don't mix, for example. There are certain things that don't mix. The same with people. Positive, negative people, right? Pessimistic, optimistic people, people from certain religion and people from other religion, people that are very close-minded and rigid, and so on and so on. And this is just, sometimes it's not worth the effort, because no matter how hard you try, you're still gonna be having to, like little Play-Doh, man of Play-Doh or a woman from Play-Doh, you'll have to twist and change and transform yourself, always for everyone else to be something that you're actually not. And you're gonna hate yourself for it, because you would never be able either to acknowledge who you are, to show who you are, or to really sit or be present in your own greatness, and show this and radiate it from this place of confidence, of self-worth, of self-esteem, of all these things that come with liking or loving yourself, right? Of accepting yourself, because this is a fundamental roadblock when it comes down to being or creating deep relationships and connections with people. You have to self-accept yourself first, because you cannot accept or expect others to like you if you don't like yourself. This is, I'm gonna exaggerate on this, and I'm gonna repeat it again. If you don't like yourself, expecting someone else to like you is going to be extremely hard. You're going to be very, very disappointed. Very disappointed. So my recommendation is, if you have issues with accepting yourself, loving yourself, liking yourself, and knowing who you truly are, start keeping an awesomeness journal in which every day you write at least one thing you like about yourself. One thing, at least one thing. And then I want you to every day sit in front of the mirror and look deep within your eyes, in your reflection in the mirror, and just again reflect on what are the things that are wonderful about you, and tell them to yourself. It's very important to come to that place where you accept, where you love, you like who you truly are. Because here's the thing, we can do a lot of things in this life, but we cannot change who we are. The only thing we can do to truly be able to move forward and work with the cards we are dealt with is to accept who we are. There's nothing we can do about it. You can go through surgeries, right? Aesthetic surgeries, and change something about yourself that you don't like. Then what happens? Then the moment you open this Pandora box of like, oh, I'm not happy with this, I'm just gonna change it, then all these other things you start to not like, or you realize that you don't like what you changed about yourself, and it's not good enough. So this becomes this ongoing loop that never ends. Do not open this box to begin with. There are certain factors in our life, such as our gender, our family of birth, right? Who our parents were, what our nationality is, our gender, our, just how we look, my eye color, my height, all these things. There's nothing we can do about them. These are factors outside of our control. So why bother thinking about things that are outside of our control, where we can focus on our energy and focus on the things within our control, which is, again, loving ourselves, accepting who we are, and working on ourselves, our personality, our character traits, who we show up in the world as, and how are we of service to others and so on, rather than what do we look like, who are parents, where we went to school, and all these things that were decisions made on our behalf, or things we didn't have any conscious control or decision. So forget about these things. Just focus on the things directly within your control, because the rest is just a waste of time. It's futile and only gonna bring you psychosis, neurosis, and all kinds of psychological issues. It's not a box to go and open and play with. It's one of those boxes that you lock and you throw deep in the ocean so nobody ever finds. Now, the next thing is, if we are going to be creating deep connections with everyone, or with new people in our life that we meet, we want to be always coming from a place of generosity, offering something, always be leading with the generosity, being a person of value, be someone who adds value, someone who asks others, hey, how can I help you? How can I be of service? What do you need right now? How can I serve you right now? What can I do for you? Because again, in order to create this deep connection with someone, we first need to, and for them to open up to us, they need to see that we care. You need to be a caring person. And how do you express care quickly and rapidly as you are meeting someone new? By showing them that you are there, willing to offer something, and you really care, meaning that you do really want to make a difference in their life, even if it's the smallest thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the hugest things, as long as you can do something for them that they value. Because you see, I want to explain a very important concept. that value is subjective, right? For somebody, I'll give you this simple example. For somebody who's in great health, offering them health advice doesn't matter. But somebody who's suffering and has a chronic disease and have no idea what's going on and needs some clarity and help, health advice, or pointing them or recommending them to a source of information or a doctor or somebody who's very well knowledgeable of their disease is extremely valuable. So what someone perceives as valuable and what someone doesn't perceive as valuable is very subjective. So to you, it might seem as the smallest thing that you will be doing for this person, but to them it could mean the world. So you never know. So you always want to come from this place, because we all come from different walks of life. We all come from different experiences, understanding, wisdom and knowledge and connections that we have, and so on and so on. So we don't want to project based on our value system and what we perceive to be valuable and what isn't to us, what is and what isn't for others. So always asking a question rather than making assumptions, because the opposite is exactly this. We are just making assumptions in our minds, which are just that, assumptions, not facts. Unless you ask a question and you find out what someone needs and how you could be of service if you could. And you don't necessarily always have to be you. You might know someone you can refer them on, connect them with. Right? There's so many, numerous ways you can always add value. Become this person of value. Always be a person of value. This is the most wonderful thing you can do. To always come from this place of offering value, just like I am right now. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just offering value because I love doing this. Because I can. It doesn't cost me anything. It's something I enjoy a lot. Again, sometimes adding value might just mean that you can recommend or connect the new person that you just met and you want to create deep connection with, to someone who you already know, who can help this person with whatever their challenge, problem, issue, and so on is. Sometimes it's about knowing the who that you can connect someone to, or as a great reason of why we want to become amazing at creating deep connections with others is that sometimes our biggest challenge can be solved by someone who's extremely good at what they do. So instead of learning how, we find the who knows the how to help us, rather than us trying to relearn or learn from the basics to get this thing to work or do something specific. We find the who knows the how, rather than us having to learn the how. So that's another very powerful point to keep in mind, and a reason why being able to create deep connections with anyone quickly is such an important skill. Plus, let's take this into account. I mean, come on, we live in a world where everybody's rushing to somewhere. Attention span is like this big, few seconds at the most. So you have to be really able to deeply connect with people in that moment that you have the chance to do so. Because given as things stand right now, and as things look as they're going to, or what the future is going to be, people's attention span and ability to interact with other human beings face to face was only going to get worse. It's not going to get better, because tendencies are everyone has this one of these screens that they're looking at more, and hours and interaction through a screen with others increases dramatically rather than the face-to-face interaction, which is scary, but it's a fact. So our ability to be able to just lock eyes with someone and have start a deep conversation without even prior knowing them in any way, and in a minute already going into deep subjects and eliciting emotional response for this person is of tremendous value, because you see, here's what I want you to keep in mind. People don't remember you by what you did and what you said. People will always remember you by how you made them feel. Because, again, it's better to make someone feel anything than be flatlining the whole time where you don't make them feel anything, right? When you just kind of like this bubbly and all nice and very nice and so on person that's just trying to please everyone. You might as well, again, be authentic, polarize people, and have the camp that loves you and the camp that doesn't like you and doesn't want to have to do anything with you, which is perfectly fine. Maybe in your place of employment, this is not necessarily the case, but then you don't have to engage with everybody in that level. We're talking about situations where you can afford to be authentic and be you. That's social situations where you go out to network or make friends, right? It could be numerous situations. Because obviously at work, you don't want to tell your boss what you think about him if you not necessarily have the highest opinion of them. This would be great, but assuming that you want to keep your employment, maybe not so much, right? But if you are ready to quit, however, but what I recommend is never burning any bridges or connections, because you never know who you might or with whom your paths might cross again, and how this person be able to help you or be someone who's fundamental or essential in a decision that needs to be made on your behalf sometime in the future. So I definitely do not recommend burning any relationships or bridges. There's no point in that. Nothing to be gained. If anything, it's just going to bring you a lot of nonsense into the future, right? So let's avoid that. So again, be a connector. If you cannot add value to someone through your direct knowledge or experience, expertise, and so on, then if you know someone else who can add value to them, who can be helpful to them based on what they need help with, then offer to connect them. This actually will strengthen your relationship with that person and the person you already know. There is a very common misconception that by doing so, you'll be burning out your relationships with others. But this is just a misconception. It's a limiting belief that is based on a very closed-minded view of the world, where you view your relationship with others like a cake or a pie. And every time you connect someone to your connections or introduce them, it's like you taking one piece and giving it to someone, and all of a sudden you're left with no pieces. Flawed belief, limiting belief, nonsense. Relationships are like muscles. The more you use them, the more you exercise them, the stronger they become. So exercise your relationships. Be a connector. Connect people to others. Be, again, generous. Be a person of value. Because that's something amazing. If you can be the connector, the person who connects everyone to everyone in your network, you'll be an extremely valuable person. Because in systems theory, there is this very interesting fact that the most flexible part in a system, or the most flexible component, ends up in control of the whole system, because it's the most flexible. It has the most possibilities in between. And you being a connector, you'll be this very flexible piece in between, which puts you in a very powerful position. So place yourself in a powerful position. Be a person of value. Be a connector. Always come from a place of generosity, authentic, vulnerable, polarizing. Speak your truth. Own your truth. Own yourself from a place of, I like myself, I love myself, I know what I can contribute, how I can add value. Always come from this place, this authentic place. Another wonderful thing you can do, a simple strategy, is when you meet new people that you don't know yet, and even with your people you know very well, your friends and so on, is to always notice things about people that you really like and compliment them. A genuine compliment is something very powerful that you can do. Just like if somebody was to give you a genuine compliment, you would really enjoy it. It's a very simple thing that you can do when you notice something about someone that really looks, that gets you, like it is genuine, right? I'm not saying you make it up, but you notice something. It could be the smallest thing, but genuine compliment is always such a powerful and simple thing to do. Especially as you start a conversation, you meet, you know, you're in a networking event again. You notice a lot of people, but you just notice this person and there's something about them. Maybe it's their tie, maybe it's their jacket, maybe it's their hairstyle, maybe it's their posture, maybe it's the way they talk, maybe it's their charisma, whatever it is, right? Doesn't matter, as long as it's something genuine, something that really affects you in a way that you truly like and it's coming from a genuine place. Telling them this compliment is a wonderful thing to do. Now, how do we go deep, right? We're talking about deep connections. We already spoke about being authentic, being vulnerable, but then how do we actually go deep? By asking deep questions. Again, we want to avoid from the get-go small talk. Small talk is shit. If you're going to do small talk, don't waste your time. Just go do something else. It's literally you're wasting your time. You're not going to create any connection with anyone for any reason. Because what is there? There is no, again, what did I say earlier? People remember you not by what you said, what you did, but by how you made them feel. How do you think you make someone feel if you're talking about the weather or their job they hate or whatever the hell it is? Some topic that is not interesting whatsoever, or small talk in generally speaking. You're not making them feel anything. If anything, you're making them feel like, oh, this person is total nonsense. I cannot wait for this conversation to be over because it's like this is the 10th person in this event that asked me the same stupid questions, right? Because you can imagine, if you've done this long enough, how many people are so programmed to have the same conversations and they ask you the same things, then go through the same stupid nonsense questions and so on and so on. And if you're a woman, you probably by now know this very well if you go to bars. The questions that men would ask you and so on, it's like a old tape that plays on repeat the whole time, right? So it's this very same thing. Don't do small talk. Go deep right away. What are some good questions to ask? Well, a very neutral question to ask that is very deep to get to know someone is to ask them about their childhood. Because it's their childhood, just like yours and mine, so those are some of the moments and memories that are loaded with emotions. I would say most of the time, pleasant emotions, and these are, times where we all love to talk about how we grew up, what we used to do. So this is a very safe and amazing topic to talk about. It's just neutral, right? It's not about work. It's not about politics. I do recommend staying away from these topics of politics, of religion, all these things that are very hard to reconcile, especially when you have people with different beliefs, and especially when their beliefs are rigid. I definitely recommend those topics as being kind of like, unless you don't give a damn and you just want to have a good discussion and you are respectful of other people's opinion and you have this level of acceptance, not tolerance, acceptance for different beliefs, and you accept and respect people different, right, to have their own beliefs, which is fine, and you don't attack them or make them feel less than you because your belief is better and theirs is worse, right? So always go deep. right away. As soon as you make that compliment or whatever it is to open up a conversation with someone, go deep. Ask them about their childhood. Another great topic to talk about, regardless of the circumstances, their passion. What are they passionate about? What do they care about? What do they feel is their life's purpose? Like, talk about things that people love to talk about. That's an extremely important thing to be conscious of. It's very interesting to actually realize, once you've experimented with this enough and you know this from real world experience, that you don't need long time to create deep connection with anyone. I really mean that. You can literally have a 1-minute conversation and leave someone with such an impact that someone that doesn't know what they're doing small talk and so on, has no presence, cannot read body language and so on, cannot do in 10 hours of conversation. In 1 minute, you can have the same effect, because it's all about the emotional impact, the emotional response you're going to get from this person. How do you make them feel? And it's not just what comes out of your mouth, because you might not realize this right now, or you might do, and I hope you do, or at least get to the point where you will realize and know this truth, that our subconscious mind reads everything. And sometimes you are in a conversation with someone and they're full of shit, but you know, they're so eloquent and the way they speak is so fluent and so well put together, right? Let's say some fucked up sociopath or some, narcissist or whatever the hell this person is, right? But they're very good at it. Your conscious mind might not be able to pick up on anything, any of those things. And not might, but most likely won't. But your subconscious mind will pick up on their energy and their body language. And you'll feel it, that there's something off. Or what I hear is fine, but there's something off. Something doesn't feel right. Right? This is why it's so important to understand that by having a proper body language, which means being present, not in our head, again, thinking what we're going to say next based on what they said, but rather being present, listening deeply on what this person is saying, and just be fully focused on each and every word that comes out of their mouth. And then talking about topics or asking them deep questions, right? Because by asking questions, we're showing a person that we not only care, but we're following on what they're talking about, right? Making them go even deeper. And here's something I want you to, again, this takes practice and time to become really good at this, right? Just like everything else. At first, you're going to be sloppy. There's so many things going on to be aware of. Just by needing or having to be present yourself, you are unable to do everything else. But I would definitely encourage you to be very, very attentive of the emotional response you get from people when you ask them certain questions about certain topics. The moment you notice that the body language, the energy, the expression on someone's face about a topic you start a conversation about or so on, it's kind of like they don't feel about talking about it, don't fucking talk about it. Change the topic, change the topic of discussion, go and talk about something. What you're looking for is like you're like fishing, but you don't know what bait to use yet, because, the bait in this example is the topic we are using. So what you're looking for is a topic that gets this person energized and all lit up to talk about. Now, once you find this topic, then go deep, right? Listen with deep attention. Don't think about what you're going to say. Just listen with attention and just ask questions. You don't have to do anything more than that. Just ask questions. You don't have to talk a lot. You'll be surprised that sometimes you didn't say anything. And these people are like, oh, we had the most wonderful conversation. Why? Because you listened to them with attention. You ask questions about the topic they are very passionate about, and all of a sudden you had a great conversation where you probably said, you asked 3 questions and the whole time you listened to, right? So it's not necessarily what's going to come out of your mouth, but it's more of, again, being present, caring about the subject that this person cares. And it doesn't matter if it's actually you truly care in the sense of you are passionate about it as well. The key is to be able to relate to the person based on their passion, the topic, and so on, the thing that they're passionate or emotionally connected to. You just need to be able to relate to it from your perspective and say, oh yeah, okay, I haven't been in this situation, but in my situation, this is how would that make me feel, and so on and so on. Being able to relate, not necessarily to, again, have the same passion or same understanding or so on. Again, it's coming from a place of acceptance, not being superior, less than, or so on, and egocentric and so on, but accepting people as they are for their beliefs, for their shortcomings, for their greatness and so on, and looking for this greatness and wonder in every single person, because there is greatness and wonder in each and every one of us. And when we go out there to meet others, this is what we're there for, in a sense, to allow this greatness in this person to come through. And how do we find it? Again, by talking about subjects and topics that lead up this person, that energize them, that bring them to life. Because you can imagine most of the time they're probably at work or as they go in their day and so on and so on. They don't talk about this much. And even if they did, honestly, they'll be still loving to talk about it all night. So paying attention to the emotional response you get from people when you ask them questions is a very, very essential skill to develop, to be just aware of their body language. How is this, or what is this topic making them feel, right? Because remember, I'm going to say this again, it's not about what they said, what you did, but how would you make this person feel? So focus on that and pay attention to what the subject is doing emotionally to that person. Is this a subject that they're very excited to talk about, or it's a subject that they want to avoid talking about? So we already mentioned childhood is a great neutral topic to talk about. Now again, always one thing in mind to keep in mind is always to pay attention. How does this person respond to this topic? Is this something that lifts them up, or it's something that makes them like, nah, I don't want to talk about it? If that's the case, even with childhood, don't talk about it. Maybe they had a traumatic childhood. How would you know? Nobody knows. They only do. So don't go deep unless you're their psychoanalyst that they go to regular. That's a whole different story. The other one is their passion, something that they're passionate about, something that they're pursuing, right? What are you passionately pursuing? What are you passionate about? What are your hobbies? What are the things that you love to do? What are the things that you can't without, right? Talking about the things that are important to this person. What is important to you right now? Asking these questions from a caring place, and then shut the fuck up and listen. It's simple as that. You ask a good question, open-ended question, right? That's the other thing. You want to avoid using close-ended questions. What do I mean? Yes or no questions. Useless. Always using deep, open-ended questions that would elicit thoughtful, emotionally charged responses by the person you are interacting with. You have to be leading the conversation, right? Your job is to lead the conversation and to navigate it. And you're only going to get better at it by practicing it. You're not going to literally get better at being good conversationalists or connecting with others if you're not practicing it often, right? So put yourself, obviously, as of late, with how things stand with the so-called corona pandemic and all this nonsense and the social distancing and all this stuff, maybe this is not the most convenient thing to do, but still you have to make an effort to meet people. I do it all the time. And you can see clearly when you go out and go to places, and obviously there's not a lot of social events happening, but if you're social and open enough, you can clearly see the people without masks who don't care about meeting people and are open to meeting people and being approached and so on. So I do recommend that you keep that and practice that, even if it's in the line, you're waiting to get in the store or something. Crack a joke, right? Make a comment on this person. Maybe you like their mask, whatever it is, right? Things will get back to normal eventually, whatever that is. Point being is, keep practicing your socializing skill. And even if you have to, given the circumstances right now, set up an online meetup through Zoom and host an online meetup and get to know people through Zoom. I mean, obviously it's a very different interaction because there's not much of the body language you can pick up, because this is a highly, again, of extreme importance to be able to read someone's body language, to pick up on the cues their body are giving you, because the body's going to tell you everything about, again, the emotional response. Is this a subject that they want to talk about, and so on? Do they like you? Do they don't like you? Are they comfortable? Are they uncomfortable? And so on and so on. There's a lot of things, but this is a topic of a whole different discussion that, you know, can take hours just to start unpacking. But body language is important, and again, always look for the energy the person has when you open up a topic, right? Is it something that energizes them and get them all lit up and happy to talk about it? Or are they kind of like, nah, like they kind of retrieve, step backwards or lean backwards, or you can see their facial expression is like, I don't want to talk about it. Do not talk about it. Unless you want them to remember you in a bad way. Not because you're bad, but just because you had them talk about something that makes them feel bad. And again, people will remember you by the way you made them feel, not what you said or what you did. So always keep this in mind. That's why it's important to find all these topics and subjects that make people light up, happy and excited and feel powerful and confident, given, you know, again, making them honest, genuine compliments and so on and so on. Always be mindful of these things. Always go deep directly. As soon as you start a conversation, you give them a compliment or introduce yourself, go deep. Go deep. Do not play it safe. There is nothing to lose. There's only so much to gain. And you always have to practice. That's the key. You're not going to get good at this by not practicing. And obviously, as I already recommended, being authentic, being true, and speaking from your truth is of fundamental importance to polarize people. To have the people that love you for who you are, and again, for them to start loving you quickly, and for those who are not gonna like you, and that's totally fine. Realizing that not everyone in the world would ever like you, because you're not meant to be liked by everyone. Just like we all have different taste buds, and something that is extremely tasty and you cannot get enough of, somebody hates, literally hates, is the same with you and me. Like, I have people that love me to death, and then there are people that I know don't like me. Man, that's fine. I don't need them to like me, because, you know, I like myself. I love myself. I accept myself. And that's the most important thing ever. That's why we started this conversation with this first. I'm glad that there are people that like me. That's wonderful. But the most important thing is that I like me. That's the most important thing. That when I go and look at the mirror, I see I like what I see. I'm happy to see myself. I'm like, wow, this dude looks so good. Like, I can't believe that's me. You know, like, wow. I'm stoked. Another topic, right? Besides childhood, passion, purpose, and so on are people's dreams, their long-term aspirations, the things that, you know, they want to turn into reality, something that maybe is like, seems impossible, right? Whatever those big dreams are, what their life purpose or big goals are. And then again, coming from this place of value, once you open up the little box and they start sharing with you what these things are, coming from the place of, ooh, you know, I can actually help you with this, right? Helping people get closer to their goals, big goals, their dreams, their life's purpose, their passion, right? That's how you actually become very valuable, by, again, being caring, listening, being present with that person, and then connecting the dots, seeing how you can connect the dots for them and help them take a step further. Because to you, again, this might seem like nothing, but to them could mean everything. You never know. Don't make assumptions, right? So listen, ask deep questions, notice how you can be of value, of service, either by giving them advice, helping them, connecting them to someone, pointing them to a reference, or so on and so on, right? Always coming from this place of giving, of being of value, of being of service, of being an amazing, amazing person that is there for them, and not keeping count of what you did for them or so on, but doing it from a place of abundance, of like, there is more from where this came from, because there is. It doesn't cost you anything, just like it doesn't cost me anything right now besides my time, which is fine because time works for me, to create this hour-long video loaded with value, helping you to become better at connecting with others. Because this is very important, right? We, as human beings, one of the things that made us extremely successful and the predominant species on this planet was our social predisposition, our need to be always in groups, in tribes. It doesn't matter, always being connecting to others. Maybe you've heard this before, maybe not. Little babies, when they're not held, when they don't feel like there's somebody caring about them, they develop the syndrome, the failure to thrive syndrome, which is based on lack of connection to other humans, being held, being loved, being in the hands of someone, and they actually die, which is very sad, but this happens. It's part of our being, needing to be connecting to other human beings, to be in social circles, to have social interactions, and the deeper, the greater those interactions are. Right? We want to be, again, creating deep connections quickly, because you'll see how magical this is. Once you know how to do it and you've been doing it for a while and you train those muscles, you'll see how easy it is, because most people are unable to do so. So whenever you go to these events and so on, people, again, because they're afraid and this and all their limiting beliefs and all the nonsense that they have, they're just sitting on the surface talking small talk and just exchanging business cards and kind of like, yeah, this, you know, I have your card, but I don't even know what the fuck you do or whatever the hell or what you care about, right? And expecting that something's gonna come out of it, or they try to get something out of it right away rather than offering value and so on. So don't be that person. Be the person that cares. Be the person that makes this person feel great. Be the person that's there just to listen to them. Sometimes it's such a powerful thing to do. The very fact that you will have the presence to sit down and listen to someone deeply and carefully and ask deep questions. You'll be surprised what a tremendous effect this might have in creating this connection between you. So please experiment and test these things out. Another point I want you to remember, it's a very important point, is that the most interesting person in the room is the one who is most interested in others. So in order to be interesting to other people, be interested in them. By being so, again, by coming from this authentic place of genuine place of asking questions, by caring and be interested in people, you will be the most interesting person to them. So become a person of value, a person of interest by being interested, genuinely interested. All these things I'm telling you, they only work if you are doing it genuinely, authentically, not as a little tactic that you use. Because again, just like you can feel when someone is bullshitting you, even though what comes out of their mouth sounds good, and your brain is like, oh, this sounds good, but you feel within that there's something off. Everyone has the same system working within, where they know what is true and what isn't, and what is kind of like, who is the snake oil salesman selling them shit, and who is authentic, real, and true. So always come from this place, always from an authentic place, from truly, truly caring about others, and be interested, right? It's so amazing to listen and train this ability. And I'll tell you something that's very important. I don't know if you've noticed this, but we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And this is a very clear indication that you should be at least listening twice as much as you are speaking. So again, going back to the old point, or the previous point, of the most interesting person in the room is the most interested. Ask deep questions, shut the fuck up, be present, and absorb everything this person wants to say. Do not be locked up in your head thinking about what you're going to say next, but read their body language. Notice the emotional response you're triggering within them, and then come up with the next better question that is going to elicit even more. Based once you're present with someone, you know, your intuition, you're just going to know, asking them what and going what, taking which mace would trigger even higher emotional response. Positive emotional response, right? Let's clarify this. We want to have positive emotional response. So asking deep questions, listening rather than talking, and finding ways to get people closer to their goals, because that's how you're going to find out how to be a person of value and how to get them to their goals, by first finding out what their goals are. If you don't know what their goals are, what their passion is, purpose, dreams, whatever challenge they might be faced with, and so on, how would you be able to add something of value to them? Now, unless you're telepathic and you can read their mind, but if you did, you probably wouldn't be watching this video to begin with. So then ask questions, listen, and then when the person stops talking, then ask another question. Or if something is already, there's a bell ringing of how you can help them, offer your help, offer your advice, offer to connect them to someone again, or ask them another question and go even deeper. It's such a wonderful thing to do. Again, something that I want you to be extremely cautious of when we go and meet new people and different interactions and different environments and so on. You're going to be meeting people with different opinions, different value systems, different backgrounds, different religion, different political beliefs, and so on, right? So we want to be not just tolerant, right? There's this word, having tolerance. Fuck tolerance. Tolerance is garbage. It's coming from a place of, yeah, I don't like what you have, but I'll kind of like pretend that it's okay for right now. Now, you have to be open-minded and have acceptance that people have the right to have their own beliefs and the way they are. There is no one-size-fits-all model that satisfies the whole world. Whoever tells you this is full of shit, and he doesn't believe in himself either. Right? There is no one-size-fits-all. We can all have our own beliefs, our own religion, our own politics or whatever, as long as we agree to accept each other's beliefs and so on, and not being, again, coming from the egocentric place, because it's the ego's insecurities that cause us to attack others, to try to prove a point, to argue a point, and so on, where there's, no matter how much you argue, you're still not going to be able to prove your point, because the person you are arguing with, he's doing the same. His ego is protecting, it's defending itself, right? So you're never going to be able to get your point across. This is completely futile and a total fucking nonsense, and the only people that truly do this are insecure people. The more insecurities you have, the more you're going to need to validate your beliefs and to show others how superior your beliefs are over theirs and how messed up they are, right, in comparison to you, because it's always in comparison to you rather than something else, right? So be accepting of the differences, of the beliefs, again, of all these things. You're going to meet all kinds of people. Be accepting, be open. Just know what is true to you. Don't try to shovel it in people's heads, right? Be like a prophet in something, unless they're asking you for your advice and so on from that place. Then be happy to advise them. Be happy to share your opinion. But then, again, when they're open to it and asking for it, then by all means. But don't be the one using a shuffle, try to shuffle it in their mouth or in their head, right? Force feeding them your beliefs, your views for the world, whatever the hell it is going on. This is not about superiority of beliefs or of ways of being and so on. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. Life is a subjective experience. You have to understand this. No two people have the same exact experience. Even if they have the exact same beliefs and so on, they're still going to have their own subjective experiences. Just like me and you, regardless, I'm creating the video on this end and you're watching on your end. It's the same video, but we're both experiencing it in a very different way. So be accepting, right? Fuck tolerance. Tolerance is crap. Be accepting. Realize that we all have our own unique subjective experience of life, and there isn't one size that fits all. Once you realize this and accept it at the deep level, then you'll see that acceptance is the only effective thing you can do. It's the only thing that you actually should be doing. Life is a matter of personal choice. As long as you are happy with your choice, the person is happy with their choice and so on, what difference does it make? Right? You live your life, they live their life, I live my life, we all live our own lives, as long as we are happy with our own choices and our choices that we made with our free will rather than were forced upon us. By all means, it's a wonderful thing. Now I'm just going to quickly recap again what we spoke about today. First things first. Like, love, and accept yourself. This is fundamentally important. Create an awesomeness list and write something that you really like about yourself in it every single day. And then look at yourself in the mirror, deep in your eyes, and read your list, or tell what are those things that you like about yourself. Always be authentic and vulnerable when you go and speak with others. Speak your truth. Come from this place of truth. Not to offend people, but be your truth. Speak your truth. Intimacy or intimacy. In order to create a deep connection with someone, we need to have intimacy. And the only way we can have intimacy is through authenticity, through vulnerability. Then ask deep questions. Forget about small talk. Fuck small talk. It's crap. Go deep and ask deep questions. Really care and listen when the people talk. When you ask them a question, don't just ask them and then quickly try to stop them talking and you talk again or over them or take the word back. No. Let them speak. Find out what they're passionate about, what their goal is, what their dreams are, what their challenges are. How can you be of service to them? How you can add value? Be a person of value. Lead with generosity. Always lead with generosity. People remember you for how you made them feel, not for what you said or what you did. Pay attention to the emotional response you trigger into people when you talk about different subjects. Find the subjects that lights them up, energizes them, and dig deep, dig deep. The most interesting person in the room is the most interested. So be the most interested. Listen, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak. Now, I hope this was another great, amazing video and you got plenty of value by watching it. I want you to take all you learned today and put it into practice out there tomorrow or as soon as feasible. Put it into practice. This is not mental masturbation. This is practical insights and wisdom you can take tomorrow and apply into real world situations. So that's what I want you to do, to take the insights you got today and to apply them into the real world and see how they actually work for yourself. Do they work for you? And so on. I am completely stoked to serve you powerfully, and just like through this video, I'm offering a full 1 hour long coaching, complimentary coaching session to anyone who takes me up on my offer. Like I'm happy to help you overcome your greatest challenge or take advantage of your greatest opportunity at this moment. Down below in the description, you'll find the link. Go to my calendar, book your coaching session, and let me serve you powerfully. Let me empower you, inspire you, and educate you on how you can conquer your greatest challenge or seize your greatest opportunity at this moment. I've also started an amazing online mentorship and coaching group on Facebook. So please join the group. It's free to join, and we're going to be doing a lot of workshops and webinars live on various topics. So please join. Amazing, amazing group and upcoming events and webinars and lots of values, of course. And you can always reach out to me and have me ask me a question and for me to answer it for you. I'm always there for you. Also, I have an amazing online 5-day-long holistic transformation challenge, which you're welcome to sign up as well for and have a tremendous experience and value. Sign up, take the challenge, transform yourself, transform your life. In 5 days, you're going to learn amazing things. There are plenty of tools, lots of values, only 20 minutes per day. So doesn't require a huge investment of time, but it's something to definitely take full advantage of. And please, if you like this video, if you think it was useful and you learned a lot of things, or there are others that can benefit from the video, like it, share with your friends, leave a comment, leave me a question. I love answering your questions and being of service however else possible. Tune in again. There's new videos coming up every week, new lessons. Watch my previous lessons on various subjects, all of which are extremely important, and there's always tremendous value in each and every one of my videos. Thank you once again for allowing me to serve you powerfully. I'm here for you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.